see if I can remember the words to this song. Now and then I think of when we were together, when you said you were so happy you could die. No, forgot already. Now and then, a certain kind. That was the last one. You can get addicted to a certain kind of sadness. Resignation to the end, always the end. Yeah, I can't remember all the words. But you didn't have to cut me up, make out like it never happened and then we were nothing. Papa Troy, what's up, what's up? I almost thought I had that one for a second. I like the Walk Off the Earth version, but no, I don't quite have the range for that one tonight. I am feeling like fucking dog shit. I'm hoping I don't wake up tomorrow like with an actual illness, physically, because I'm pretty sure I might be there. So I'm trying to kind of collect my thoughts on this one right now. What was the other one I was playing before that? That was kind of a little jam I was doing. Somewhere in there, yeah. Kind of get out on that one a little bit. I'll have to work on that a little. I like that technique, so just putting something together with that riff. I'll probably be brief tonight, just to like gathering this whole train of thought thing. Speaking of which, this is the end of the line. Everybody must depart. This bus is going out of service, sir. Okay, it was rough. As I mentioned yesterday was rough, and obviously today was a bit rougher. I put myself through it. I took on some additional hours at work, and just like keeps happening to me. I woke up balls early this morning, and I did get a tiny bit of a nap in, but by the time I got like settled in to take the nap, my alarm started to go off, so I pushed it out like another 30 minutes. I just rushed getting ready. Or no, it was like another 45 minutes. And then rushed getting ready and made it to work just in the nick of time, of course. But, I was on top of my shit. I remember like the restroom key because I accidentally took that home, and I had time to like quickly drop that off to the other guard at my station before I went down to my other post because it's walking distance. So, but I was not feeling it. It took so much out of me just to stay in the game today, but I did it. I ended up having an incident with a female down there who I see pretty often, and we've kind of had this escalating nature to our relationship. I think at first she really liked me, and I was being cool with her. She wasn't doing anything that I was really worried about, other than being her unusual self, but I kind of enjoyed it. I like her. She's relatively harmless. She's a mousy little chick, but she's got spunk. And and I like that. and But today, when I got down to my first site, because she frequents both, I saw her down there, and she was already in kind of a squabble with somebody else at that point. She was all pissed off and screaming, but she was packing her shit down the street already. Thank you, Cher. I don't know what for, but thank you. um, Good to see you. And so she said in passing as she was leaving, she's like, "You'll be down at the bus stop later, right?" I was like, "Yes, I will." She's like, "Okay, I'll see you there." And I just knew by the way she said it, I knew some shit was gonna pop off. And so I get down there, and she must have been waiting for me. She's like on the back side of the building, chilling with her shopping cart. I was like, "Okay, here goes what's gonna happen." And so she she waited till I was, doing my first patrol and pulled her whole shopping cart. She had two shopping carts like linked together, right? Pulled her whole little deal around right in front of the entrance to the lobby where the doors are open, and her and another guy likes to fuck with me down there. Um, and they both crowded up by the door and started smoking, and she lit up incense and was like every kind of scent imaginable, pulled out her folding chair, and she's sitting there, facing the door and blowing smoke that way. So that's why I was like, okay, I'm gonna shut this shit down. And I walked up, and I try to be nice to people, but in this case I was like, okay, you're just fucking with me. I just, kind of spoke to her maybe a little condescendingly. Maybe she felt I was talking down to her like a child, and I was a bit. Because if you're gonna act like a petulant child, occasionally I might just treat you like one. I said, we're not gonna play this game. You need to move, and so we had a little back and forth, and I ended up pushing her shopping cart out onto the sidewalk. I didn't push it into the street or anything. I just said, well, if you're not going to move it, I'm going to move it for you. And I nicely pushed it out onto the sidewalk, but she flipped the fuck out. She flipped the fuck out. And at first she said it was okay for me to move it. She's like, oh yeah, go for it. And then once I did, she was like, stop touching my shit. What are you doing? And it was like, oh, dude, it was all I could do. And I think I did laugh at her a little bit because she was trying to get all in my face, start making threats and stuff. And she's tiny. She's tiny. I'll beat your ass. Oh, no, I'll get my boyfriend to beat your ass. Well, you don't even have a boyfriend. Uh, yeah, like, okay. Just going through all that motion. I felt kind of bad about it because it ended up escalating to the point where like I was just let her shout it out on me and hope she would move along, but she kept going, started pounding on the windows and shit. And so the customer service reps were like, no, you gotta call that shit, call the cops. So he did that. He did the report, and they have a history with her. I have a history with her, so we just kind of put it there. It's like, and I told them what happened as far as her kind of following me from site to site, and they're like, "All right, well, keep an eye out for that." But as far as being over here, like if it gets worse, if it keeps escalating because she's kind of like that, then we'll put the restraining order on her. So I'm like, but that's really up to my company, not me. Now I could personally get a restraining order against her, but I don't want to do that. It's not really my bag, and also it might make things a little more difficult for me at work. I think if that were to happen, because she's a resident down there. I mean, well, she's a transient, but she is a frequenter of. She lives in that area, so I mean I see her all the time down there anyway. It's like, so I don't know how to deal with that one. That one just stuck with me though, because it was it was just a little sobering. Like I went from 0 to 60, like I had a super smooth day, and then I get over there and start my second shift off that way. I was like, okay. And luckily nothing else really happened, up until the end. And then and another woman who showed up, and she was having a rough time. And she ended up asking me to call the paramedics for her, which I did. But I knew, and I knew when I was calling, I was like, I know this is not an emergency. I was trying to stress that. I was like, this chick's just trying to get a free ride to the hospital, but she's also like, you could tell she was kind of messed up, you know. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna call these guys down here, and they couldn't do anything for her. So they were like, all right, when's the bus coming? And I'm getting off work. You know, it's like literally the very end of my shift. And if it had gone differently, but I predicted it. I was like, they're either gonna just swoop her up and take her, or they're gonna tell her to f off and put it back on me. Which I was like, okay, I've already got a backup plan for this one. I don't like it, but so I ended up paying her bus fare, um, and getting her the heck out of there. Which I like, you know, it's like one of those things. I don't want to make a habit of it. I can't afford to do that, but you know, I felt a certain, I don't know, I feel a certain sense of obligation to my surroundings there. What's up, Sterling? Good to see you. You shoved the card up her ass. Yeah, yeah. It could have been a lot worse. I had that instinct for a second, and then I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna be mean. So I was just trying to be as nice as possible. But she took it right to the limit. It's like, okay, man, okay. But I also get a sense that she was kind of intending to do that, right? She likes to kind of escalate situations with me and see how I'm gonna respond, because that's what she kept saying. She kept saying, you know, you're gonna get violent. You're gonna put your hands on me. I'm like, no, I'm not. Why would I do that? There's no reason for that to happen. Like, just get out of my face. I'm not getting in your face. Like, um, so yeah, I think in some ways it is a test of my patience and my attitude, you know, in any given circumstance. And that's kind of what I'm doing down there. But but in the meantime, you know, again, a lot of encouragement to just kind of transition into like, you know what, man, you've probably taken enough abuse for the duration of this career, and you know, it's like, you know, just that move on stage. And I've been there like over 6 months now. So that's where I'm like, okay. So at some point, like how much, because at first I was like, well, I'm not just going to leave the job, you know, even though all these other opportunities are arising. I was like, well, you know what? The company has helped me out. My boss has been really cool, you know, when they could have just fucking shit canned me or whatever. Um, and I guess they saw the potential and the value there, and so I appreciate that. And you know, I like my station, but yeah, at some point you gotta be like, okay, it's time to start getting a little more serious about this. And so, you know, back to all those same dilemmas I've been dealing with. What am I going to do with myself? And so, you know, moving into that realm of thought, you know, it's where I'm going to try to I'm not going to try. I am going to, because we're speaking in positive affirmation. I'm going to start working out again in the morning, provided I'm not like bedridden from illness. Even if it's just a short workout, you know, get some push-ups, get some squats, and do that first thing in the morning. Because it all starts with changing your habits and doing that first thing. Because you know, if your first instinct, like me, is to have coffee and a cigarette, or sometimes beer and a cigarette, you're a little hungover. That's not the right way to start your day when you're trying to, you know. So yeah, gotta go back to the other routine of water and a workout, you know, and just start from there. And sounds like your ex. You know, she also reminds me of my ex, my previous ex, who you remember. Well, I won't mention by name, but yeah, you know her. She reminds me a lot of her. Um, so yeah, I don't know. And there's another chick down there that reminds me of my daughter's mom. She hasn't been around so frequently though. I ended up bandaging her up because she had some. I don't know if I should go into the specifics of that, but I had to I triaged her, you know, because she was out there at the bus station, friggin' open wounds, and she was like, "Look at this," and I was like, "That's gonna get fucking infected." Like you're just walking around with it. Like, okay, I'll triage you. I have a first aid kit, and did that. So it's like, I don't know. This is the type of shit that I end up, doing most of the time. It's like, yeah, healthy body, healthy mind. Um, it reminds me of her too. Oh, I've had a few of those. Actually, I would typically end up being the one most often to get into it with the security guards back then, but uh, uh, but she would tend them. So I the hell was I saying? I haven't even smoked this pot yet. I found a roach, so I haven't had any pot, and it's really unusual for me. That's another thing that I'm like, okay, and how much of it is drying out off of pot? Because they say it's not addictive and there's not really a come down, but I tend to kind of disagree. I don't know. Maybe it's just the force of habit that you're so used to it. But there's no, physical withdrawal. It's just more of a mental thing. But that's gonna take steps. So I had considered, as I have been, I consider putting myself into like a 30-day program, and I'm like, no, 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 and maybe outpatient, but no, we're not there yet. I'd really like to just go to a fucking meditation retreat, but that costs time and money that I don't have, and time off work, and yeah, I was talking about that quite a while ago with my friend Michaela over here, and we were talking about hitting one together. And I think she went, if I'm not mistaken, uh, but I wasn't able to go. So I'm like, okay, so and now I'm already in the meetings, and I'm doing the smart recovery meetings, which are helpful, but I need probably a bit more, a little more. Um, got a couple people I could probably call, and that's like part of the issue with doing this thing, and then I end up running my mouth, and then I don't end up calling the people I should call, or like today I try to make a couple calls, and then people just fucking don't answer, don't return. Okay, whatever. But that's more like family shit. So I try to call my family first, but I think they're the most sick of hearing about my bullshit. Like, they've been listening to it my entire life. So, yeah, a lot of perfect strangers out there that are good to talk to you as well. In the meantime, I kind of end up venting here and then not expressing myself in those moments because I feel like I've already said this before, and it's like those moments where it's like, yeah, it's repetitive, but that's what you have to do. Like rather than feeding the repetitive thoughts and behaviors, when you get into that repetition, call somebody to take you out of it, or you know what I mean, like. It's actually a distraction from the distraction, just have another person. But man, it's been tough. It's been tough with my head being kind of in and out of fog, and it's like I was having a conversation at work after that whole incident, the first one with my coworkers um, over there. Well, they're not, people I work with. It's a weird dynamic um, because one of them is like a supervisor at the other company, but as far as me, we're just like on equal footing. Like I'm not your boss. and then the other guys, like the groundskeeper, guy. I don't think they call him that, but that's essentially what he does, is like maintenance around the place, and keeping basic sanitation and stuff. And so we're chatting, and like it was like they started, and it was they were. It was interesting conversation. I was getting to know about them and the dynamics over there in the company, but I really didn't feel like I had much input. And then I kept getting distracted by my other thoughts, and think, okay, well, I have all this other stuff going on. So as I mentioned last night, I think I finally broke down and started trying to negotiate or reason with my son's mom on her terms over this app where she just gets to talk all the shit she wants, and I'm not, I guess I could say whatever I want back, but in the long term, the whole reason we have the app is because we are inevitably going to use this shit against each other in court. So that's the idea of it, because we already tried it with the text messages. They were like, nope, with the text messages, but get the app, and then we'll read all the text on the app. So we're doing it that way, and it's just been so tough. She's like, what I'm trying to do, and I'm trying to express that, hey, I'm over here taking these steps, and she doesn't want to hear any of it. She wants me to just step away from my child's life and just not be involved. And it's been really difficult. So that was kind of distracting me. I was thinking about that, and then yeah, well, that mainly, that's been on my mind a lot. Just all the bullshit associated with that I'm still gonna have to deal with as far as going into court and getting these fucking papers filed, because court papers are a fucking pain in the ass. And I think I already screwed one of them up, so I'll have to redo it. Not sure though. I actually left those at home this time, so I don't have them here with me because I'm never able to fill them out when I'm here anyway. It's in the fucking dark and it's after work and I'm tired. So I was like, well, I'll actually put these on my desk and do them when I go home this time. Still no idea when or how I'm going to get home. And I'm broke. I paid off my loan. I could get another loan, but I'm trying to wait that one out a little bit. Yeah, I paid off my loan. I paid up my credit card and all that stuff. I mean, I didn't pay it off, but I got my monthly payment, So I was like, okay, after that, I'm fucking flat broke again. But I've got resources. I've got some food stockpiled and stuff like that. The same ex or a different ex, Papa Troy? Yeah, I mean, I know that he wants to see me. He has trouble vocalizing that, and I know that he's discouraged from it. When he's over there, he's not even supposed to speak my name in front of his grandfather because the dude's just total control freak. And it's like, okay, so, and he was undermining me the whole time I was there anyway. I have to deal with that bullshit to top it off. But okay, enough about complaining about that. The other suggestion was made to me was whether I was going to move back to this area, which is whatever, relative equal distance from where I'm at now, but north of my job. And I'm like, okay, well, I like where I'm living and I can afford it, and so why would I come to a place where I can't afford the housing? You know what I mean? And if I'm potentially going to be changing jobs anyway, but even if I do stay at that job, I mean, it's technically closer for me to be where I'm at, but it's less convenient for public transportation. So I have to get back into a vehicle of my own in order to make that keep working. And so, yeah, this just came out of left field. When are you going to move up here? Probably not. I mean, I love it up here. It's great, but it's expensive as hell. And I think there's probably going to be more work opportunity closer down there. So I just I don't know. But as far as the searching I've done and stuff like that, unless I go with the place I'm at now, and go into the transit system. So yeah, I don't know. I was trying to balance that one out, but I had to really think about that and dial that one back. I was like, is there any reason that I should be thinking about moving? No. I get along well with my roommates, so I mean, eventually I'd like to get my own place, but as long as I'm roommating, why not stay in a place that is working now, because that's my only other option. I've got my other friend up here who we're talking about roommating together, but he's in a different kind of space as far as the living situation thing. So I don't know how that would work out. It'd be like a long term goal. I think that could work out too. I mean, so he's been inviting me over. I've got an open ended invitation over to his apartment, but I don't want to you know encroach on his space too much or whatever. Plus, I like my solitude occasionally, even though I feel like so lonely all the time. But no, really, I need space from people too. Even though we're interacting, I still have my little quiet zone here. So I was told to wear my bulletproof vest today, and I asked Daywatch, "Who did you piss off today?" So that is a concern. That is a concern, right? And I was thinking about that too because I was like, this chick does get around. So if she did want to plant the seed, I mean, there is a chance. Some dude came by earlier, closer to the end of my shift too. He's all shirtless and he was just swinging a pipe, and he just like came through randomly. And I'm like, what's this dude do? Like just walking through the bus station and swinging this metal pipe or whatever. And then he like whacked a pole or something with it. And then he took off across the street. And I was like, did he see? It crossed my mind. I was like, maybe she could send somebody to try and beat me up. It's not impossible. Um, they're going to be on camera if they get me on site. There's a so it's like whatever. I just lock myself in a shack, and there I have my own, you know, weapons. But yeah, if it came down to that, but I don't think she would. We usually get along really well. It was like after the last time we got into it, we made up and we were doing good, and then this happened again. So like, okay, so I don't know. I don't know what to do with that one, but I do consider it like that one dude who I fucking chewed out in his van for pulling in the wrong way of the bus terminal and stuff. And I was kind of a dick to him. He was like super chill about it, and he was like laughing, and I was like, no, it's not funny. No, he said you're funny, bro, and I said you're fucking funny. You're the one who's parked in a bus terminal. And so he did come back, and so I know that's what happened. He came back, he set off a firecracker right in the middle of my stop. So that was the most minimal thing that could probably happen. He could have come back with a gun. You just don't fucking know what people are gonna do, especially when they feel disrespected. Yes, good roommates are hard to find. And I like stumbled upon these ones. Like it was like the first room I had looked for on the Facebook Marketplace. And amazingly, I found it on Facebook Marketplace. So I was like, okay, that's a trip. All right, I'm going to take a couple puffs off this doobie. I need to use sparingly. Plus, since I haven't had any weed, it should get pretty high. I just need enough to chill, man. So yeah, I've been fucking congested as hell today. My head's stuffy, nose is stuffy, chest is stuffy. My back has been fucking hella sore for the last couple days. And now I'm feeling a bit of a loss of appetite, so I'm just hoping it's something that'll pass. But I think I do have a COVID test in here I could take. But I don't remember how long it's supposed to be before you take it. Like 2 or 3 days or something. So for now, gotta just go back about my business and finish out my work week and still dealing with car trouble, which is gonna be pressing because now that I'm in front of a residence, I know somebody's gonna be complaining about that because my car looks kind of ghetto, especially for this neighborhood. But there are a lot of ghetto cars out on the streets. we have a large population of people that have covered here before living in their vehicles. There's actually an encampment over right on the other side of the freeway here. And they've basically just been like, well, we're going to let these people, as long as they're not fucking shit up, they're staying in RVs and all types of stuff. And so that's pretty much just because that encampment is full. It's just kind of overflowed out to this side and into this neighborhood. And this is like so it's part of the downtown Old Town area, but we're kind of off on a side cut that is basically dedicated to low income housing around here. So it's not like the ghetto, but it's low income housing. So we'll just put it that way. So you can imagine, the residents are a little more chill than the ones that live up on the hill. So me, day shift or night shift. It really depends on what I'm doing, but I don't like overnights. I really don't. I tried graveyards a few times, and no, I don't. I don't know. When I first started doing graveyards with Amazon during the pandemic, that was kind of cool, but only because there was nobody but me and one other person in the building. We traded shifts doing patrols. I pretty much spent that was when I started making YouTube videos. Like I was making YouTube videos while I was doing graveyards in the Amazon building, and I used their Wi-Fi. So it was like that was how I first started, because I just had nothing but time on my hands. I go in there, walk around. It was a lot of walking because you had to do what was it, 7 or 9 floors, and some of them were split up, so you had to go do the whole thing, the whole ride in the elevator and blah blah blah, and then they actually had the little checkpoints. Yeah, but other than that, graveyards suck. Swing shift, I mean, for me, like I said, that's my personal preference for a number of reasons. One is I have trouble staying awake, and as I've learned since, I have astigmatism, so I have issues with lights at nighttime sometimes. Now that I have glasses, it's not as bad, but no. So I wasn't usually walking. I think I did that a couple of times, but I was either doing my bike or scooter. I think that night we talked, I was on my scooter, and then I ended up having a bad scooter fall, which my hand is still injured from, and and then the scooter. I think I rode it through some mud or something. So the front end, whatever's going on with it, it's like seized up. So I need to go junk it. Um, because it's no longer running. And then my bike has had this ongoing tire issue that with a slow leak that just keeps getting progressively worse. I have to change the tube or patch it or something. I was going to patch it, but I'm thinking I'll just change the tube. But there's no bike shops around here. And the bike shop down by where I work is crazy expensive. They have bikes in there that cost as much as fucking cars, dude. It's nuts. And they're just regular ass road bikes. There's nothing like, I mean, they look really cool, but there's nothing spectacular about them. And I'm like, you want $2,500 for that thing? Like, I could go buy a car for that. But okay. Um, so yeah. Right now I've been just busing, and so that's why I haven't been going home. Um, because the bus doesn't run back over the bridge my way at night, so that's out, right? And then so it's like if I take the alternative route, I can go down to San Francisco and hop a BART train, and it would take me longer to do that than to physically walk, you know. But I'm not going to walk either. It's crazy. So yeah, I resigned myself to bike and stuff like that. Um, the other issue is in the morning, if I miss the bus leaving my house, and there's a layover at the station, right? So usually I get there a few minutes early. But if I miss that bus and I have to take the next one, then my bus leaving to go over the bridge, it's an additional, I think, 45 minutes. So which would basically make me yeah, because if I get there 30 minutes early, because it shows up on the half hour if it's on time. But if I have to wait that 45 minutes, I would end up being, well, I guess I'd be 30 minutes late for work. Yeah, that makes sense. Yes. Yes. Okay. So, yeah. But it's like, I think it's like a 12-minute difference on my end or something like that, because those buses are they keep coming. So, all right. The other thing I got a doctor's appointment lined up, but it's not until the 20th. And as I'm hearing that, I'm like, okay, it's cool to finally have an appointment lined up, like an in-person visit, but at the same time, I'm over here like, well, I have kind of some urgent concerns. Like one of them was this whole whether I should take this medication again or not. And the longer I go without taking it, like it seems like the more we're splitting up the quitting thing I've been working on, right? And I pretty much already have a good idea of what's going to happen when I do take it, right? So if I'm able to just kind of account for that, it could be all right, right? But then there's a chance that if I go in and I tell her how long I've been off of it, she'd be like, "Why the fuck did you start taking it again?" You know, just because there's another medication we could try, or I could go the other route, trying patches or lozenges or something like that. I could even use a combination of those. I just haven't been doing that, but I really don't think the patches are effective. And the other issue is with my hand from that scooter fall, which has been like over a month ago. And my hand is still not fully healed. So I'm not, but I feel like now it's probably healing enough, but it sometimes feels like there's like a bone shard moving around in there, like right in the palm of my hand. And so I wanted to get an x-ray, but I'm like, well, if I'm going to wait another, 2 weeks or whatever it is, then I might as well just go into urgent care over here. Like I have insurance, so just do that. It's like, okay, because I should probably get that x-rayed before it does any more stuff in there, like as quickly as possible. And I told her that over the phone. She's like, sorry, this is all we got. Actually, it was the only morning appointment that she had available. If I was able to take off work, I could have come in the afternoon this week, but because I wasn't able to take off work, or was it next week? So that's why I had to wait till the week after. So I was like, well, it is what it is because I can't afford to miss work. And so, yeah, there's that. So I just kind of have to deal with what I'm dealing with right there because it's like one of the community clinics. Now, that's the other reason I want to get, because I have health insurance through my job too. So I could be going to a Kaiser and might get better service. I don't know, might get better service. I've usually had pretty good experiences with Kaiser, but I've heard a bunch of horror stories about them too. So, what? You have an electric bike for sale for $500? Well, yeah, I'm interested, but make a payment plan? No, shit, that would be, because if that would get me over the bridge, that would make that trip probably like a lot faster and easier. I mean, I still want to keep my legs jacked and keep working out, but my legs have been just amazing. My legs are awesome. Except I think I mentioned I injured my knee because I need a lamppost on purpose. Well, out of frustration. I kind of been doing some what do you call that? Like katas earlier, and then like everything was going well. So then when things started going not so well, I just went into striking inanimate objects, not people and stuff. I'll usually strike inanimate objects and hurt myself rather than somebody else. Um, yeah, I really need a punching bag. That's what I should get. But I am interested. Papa Troy. I'll have to save up for that a little bit. Actually, I could probably do it on like my next check or something, or if you give me like 2 payments or something. All right, I know I said I was going to keep this short, but I'm going on 40 minutes now. And smoking again. Hence the necessity for the. I mean, I'll look at these cigarettes and say, oh, they don't so good. And it doesn't matter that I'm all congested and stuff, and I know it's just going to make it worse. I'm just, you know. But when I was on the medication, it was working fairly well. I mean, I was down to a bare minimum, and actually went. This is the longest I went without smoking. I think it was like. Well, okay, I'd say without smoking at work, I think it went like 2 weeks, and then I think I bummed a couple cigarettes on the side, but I didn't buy any, and I wasn't, yeah. When I get off air call, oh yeah, okay, okay, sir. Well, I will do that, but I do have to fucking get my happy ass to bed because fucking another fucking shift tomorrow, and I gotta do laundry in the morning. But I will call you about that, and we'll figure it out because I'm tired anyway. I was sitting here contemplating whether or not to even do this, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. It's the end of the line. I come up with this shit in my head while I'm walking around, and then if I don't write it down on a notepad, then some of it gets through, and I was like, yeah. So it's either end of the line or biting off more than you can chew, but I've settled on this one. So I don't. One offers. It's the title of a fucking YouTube show. It's not like super important. It's just me rambling, about myself, which is weird. I've gotten really kind of comfortable with this whole vlog thing or whatever it is. Ease out again. Yeah, I probably have to replace the strings. I mean, he told me this guitar came from like Salvation Army or something, so I probably paid more for it than he did, or he got it for free and I paid him for it, but it doesn't matter. Big hug share. Yeah, I don't really know what I'm going to do after this, but I definitely have to put myself to bed. That's all I got right now. Besides, we're going on 43, 47. I guess I can, set that down there. That was a little loud. I can say that among the other things I have to do this week to try to get a hotspot. Once I get a hotspot, I'll probably do a couple additional opens. I mean, it's cool. We have some pretty good conversations on the phone, but Yeah, I really feel like there's a lot more to be had when I got the Chromebook and the hotspot, and we can browse videos or do whatever. There's just a lot more options available and better audio quality for the most part. Um, and so, yeah, I'm kind of waiting on that. But I do plan on doing a couple additional open panel discussions, and I've got some more on morality to discuss. Like, seems to be the great topic um, to discuss because that's really where we all agree on how we form or make ethical judgments and or disagree on rather, like all these really weird complex issues we have with society and our country and other countries around the world have mostly the same problems. There's ain't nobody perfect, but I mean we seem to be going through a bit of turmoil here as a society, and so I strongly believe that robust discussions about things we disagree on and the way we conduct ourselves and live our lives are important and need to be had. And so that's something I'm going to look at doing. All right. I will wrap it. I'll wrap it. I'll wrap it up in a big hug. Say good night, good luck, much love, be well, and stay trusty. And is there something else I say after that? I forgot what I always say at the end of it. I always say the same thing at the end of every stream. All right. Oh, yeah. Be kind, always. Much love.